Bhagavad Gita is a book of mankind's collected experience of and answers to life's most basic questions. Who I am, from where do I come, what is my purpose and destiny, and most practically, how do I find happiness? These podcasts originate in the lectures of Neil Bhatt, a disciple of Swami Chinmayananda. They are presented here in 20 to 30-minute segments, each covering 3 of the Gita's 701 verses. Welcome to Gita Wisdom for Daily Living.
So we have been discussing chapter 9, Rajavidya Rajaguhya Yoga. Yoga of royal knowledge and royal secret. Or supreme knowledge and supreme secret. Yoga of mysticism. Because we are learning about the unmanifest, all-pervading Brahman, which is beyond the perception of our senses. We can know things in this world through our senses, but that is something which is beyond our senses, is what we are discussing right now, which in normal language you call mysticism. Something to know which is beyond our perception, beyond our cognition. So what we have learned so far in this chapter is that Bhagavan said that I pervade in this entire universe in my unmanifest form. And therefore you cannot see me, you cannot perceive me. However, that is the quest of your life, is to know it. Knowing which, you will know everything that needs to be known. In other words, if I know my own self, then I will know everything that is constituting my world. My world, I am at the center of my world, and everything else around me relates to me, and that's my relationship. If I know myself in its own essence, I will know all the relationships also with the world outside. So what we have been seeing is the relationship between the Jiva, the individual that I am, Jagat, that is the manifest Prakriti, and Ishvara, the source of both the Jiva and Jagat. So Bhagavan described in the beginning the relationship that I am the source of all things and beings, but I am not in them. In other words, Bhagavan says that I am not in each individual thing and being, but things and beings are in me, which is very contrary to what we have learned from our traditional learning and teachings of religions, that Bhagavan is within me. Here Bhagavan said, I am not in anything or any being. Anything which is described as a thing or a being cannot be the Ishvara. It cannot be the essence of Ishvara. But the thing or being only exists because Ishvara exists. So that's basically is the conundrum which we have to resolve. And Bhagavan said that's which is confusing you is the manifest Prakriti. This manifest Prakriti presents these myriads of forms and colors for my senses to cognize. This knowledge about the things and beings outside misguides me. And I consider that that which I see is reality. When it comes to me, I can perceive and feel my body, mind and intellect, and therefore I come to the conclusion, I am this. That's something I can experience. I can see the presence of my body when I look into the mirror. I can see my limbs. I feel my mind and I feel my intellect. So that's my identification. And Bhagavan said, all beings are deluded by that Maya. All things are coming out of my Maya. Even though I'm not in them, they are in me, but they're also literally not in me. They're not physically in me. Beings are not physically residing in Ishvara. Therefore, Bhagavan said, that's because of Maya. The Maya creates this world of things and beings out of its own power. Maya is the cause for my being who I am today. That ignorance about my own self has created the identity with this continuum called body, mind, and intellect. I call this as me. Bhagavan says that's the quest of your life, is to know that. Most people do not know that Bhagavan said, because they are confused by this rajas and tamas in Maya. Maya is constituted of three qualities: sattva, the knowledge; rajas, activity; and tamas, inertia. Most people are predominated by rajas and tamas, and therefore they identify with the prakriti outside. But he said there are few who have risen to the level of sattva. The sages, they recognize the essence behind this prakriti. They recognize that the substratum to this universe is that all-pervading self. And so therefore they constantly think about me. They constantly praise my glory. They constantly remember me. So the journey in evolution, we have seen, is from tamas, from inertia, to sattva, which is knowledge. And the final destination is satya, the truth. So evolve from inert matter to highly intelligent, capable of knowing truth in a sattva. But then the journey is to know the truth, the satya. So journey is from tamas to sattva, and then cross this maya and go to satya. Bhagavan said, that's your goal. Knowing that truth, you will know everything that needs to be known. That knowing gold, you will know all the essence of all the gold jewelry. Knowing mud, you will know all the essence of all the mud parts, as we have seen the classical examples. Knowing that self, you will know your own self, because my own self is nothing but the pure consciousness. So Bhagavan said there are sages who have risen to that level, the godly people who constantly keep that in mind, that there is nothing is existing in this world other than that all-pervading self, and therefore myself also is nothing but that all-pervading self, and everything I see in this world outside is also nothing but that all-pervading self. This is the satatam kirtayantam mam. He is doing this kirtan constantly in his mind that the nothing exists other than that supreme self. And the bhajanti mam, constantly identifying with me. He keeps that thought in mind so that he can cross over this maya. So maya does not delude him. Gnana yagnena chapi anye yajanto mam upasate. But then there are others who employ different methods, different paths. So the paths which are described here are for going from this samas to rajas to sattva and then to satya. One path is those who reach that highest level of sattva, they constantly realize that there is nothing but that Ishvara is pervading everywhere. This is nothing but the Maya's play. This Jagat is under the spell of Maya. Therefore, Bhagavan said, I send these beings over and over again into this world which is spinning from birth and death, birth and death. And this Maya makes it possible to continue in perpetuality. But those who recognize the fact that Ishvara is the Lord of Maya, Maya is controlled by Ishvara, and Ishvara is the one who is pervading all throughout this Maya. Maya cannot exist without Ishvara because my knowledge of any science or architecture cannot exist without me being conscious about it. Maya cannot exist without Ishvara being conscious about it. So the Gnani Yagnena Chapini, the people constantly reminding themselves, having known this knowledge from the scriptures, from teachers, from sages, I may not have experienced that yet, but I keep that in mind that anything which I see, anytime I see, I remind myself that it is nothing but Ishvara's manifestation. Gnana yagnena chepiyanne yajanto mam upasate. This is how he worships me. by constantly reminding himself when he reacts or acts in this world that I am who is reacting in the world which is acting is nothing but that same Supreme Self. So that is Gnana Yagna. Constantly offering my ignorance. Right now my ignorance is I am this limited being. The world out there is something completely different. That ignorance I consciously and purposely destroy in that knowledge that the world outside is not different than who I am. Ekatvena. So there are several ways. Even in that there are several methods, Bhagavad says. Ekatvena. One is Advaita. The non-dualism. None other exists other than that Supreme Self, which is what we call it Advaita philosophy of Vedanta. That there is no other existence other than His existence, but He pervades everywhere. So the Ekatvena. When I see things and beings, I realize that there is no other existence other than His existence. That's what Pruthakstvena. Dvaitavad. You may be following a Dvaitavad. Your master must have told you, no, the Bhagavan is separate and you are separate. He will be master, you are his sevak. Even there, you will see that all that exists is nothing but his Maya. And I am seeing the same Maya which makes me as who I am, makes the world what it is. So the different perspective but the same knowledge that the underlying reality, the unmanifest self, is the one and the same. Bahuda Visvato Mukham. Or you can see the world of plurality, which I see is nothing but the same entity. So the various teachings we have in our traditions is the Dvaitavad, Advaitavad and Visishtha Advaitavad. Whichever way I look at it, in the end, Bhagavan says, Gnana Yagnan, in that knowledge that the fundamental reality is the consciousness. Everything is emerging out of this fundamental reality, which is consciousness. Everything is emergent reality. The world is real for me, but it is a relative reality. As long as I identify with this body, mind, intellect, this world is very real. And I shouldn't make mistake of picking a fight with a wrestler or somebody who is larger than me. That's very real world. That's a vyavaharik buddhi. I should have that common sense. But the same token, I should have the fundamental knowledge that only one reality exists. The next verse, Bhagavan explained that in all your activity, also you should see the same entity. So in any activity, three entities are required. The actor, field of activity, and the instrument of action. So when I act in this world is my field of activity. I'm working outside in this world, the world is the field of my activity. Actor is me, my ego. Aham kartru, that which tells me I am doing is the actor. An instrument that I use is this body, mind, intellect continuum. I use either my body, my mind, my intellect. That's my instrument. With that instrument, my ego functions in this world outside and acts in this world. So right now I see all those as three separate entities. But in this verse, Bhagavan says, Aham kratuhu, aham yagnaha, swadaha aham, aushadam mantro aham, eva ajyam aham, agnihi aham hutam. This verse is very similar to the one we have learned in chapter 4, verse 24. Brahmarpanam brahmavihi, brahmagno brahmanahutam, brahmevetena gantavyam, brahmakarma samadhina. Using this ritual of yagna, this Vedic rite of yagna, where somebody is performing yagna, he is using the instrument to perform yagna, offering this ghee in this fire. Fire is the recipient. He said, Aham kratuhu. Kratuhu are the Vedic rites. Vedic period, in the Vedic culture, Vedas describe rites for everybody. Everybody set rules to follow and set things to perform in a day-to-day living. Say, all those activities you are performing, Bhagavan says, Aham, it's nothing but me. The field is me, the actor is me, the instrument is also me. So when you are performing your rites, Bhagavan said, that's me. Aham yagnaha. So yagna Swamiji describes here is the ritual prescribed in Smritis. In the later time, this particular ritual was designed to propitiate deities, the phenomenal forces. They realized that our lives depend on the phenomenal forces. If we can somehow manage them, then our lives will be much better. So the yagnas were created to appease or propitiate these devatas. And Bhagavan said, that's also me. The phenomenal forces are me. The one who is trying to propitiate them is also me. And the means you use this fire. Fire was the messenger. You offer ghee to the fire, fire will take it to the higher authority. So Bhagavan said that aham yagna, swadaha aham. That which you're offering, the food. So in fire, what you offer is what is dear to you. The food is dear to you, offer all those grains and ghee in it. Bhagavan said, all the food that all beings and creatures are eating is nothing but me alone. Come from my own maya. Aushadam, also the medicine to cure your disease, is also me. Mantra aham, and the chant which you chant. The thoughts which you think to act in this world is also nothing but me. Mantra is basically something which I churn my mind over and over again. I need to do this, I need to do this, need to buy BMW, need to buy BMW. Mantra aham. Eva ajyam aham. The ghee which you pour. Some Agni aham. The fire is aham. And hutam, the offering is also me. So Bhagavan said, all activities, the actor, the field of activity, and the instrument is nothing but me alone. It is like an ice sculpture. If there is a village scene or a mountain scene in ice sculpture, the mountain is also ice, the people shown are also ice, the huts and the animals and whatever you see, the field, all is ice because it's ice sculpture. So this Maya is like that ice. Everything is created out of the same material. Pitaham asya jagataha. Now Bhagavan shows the relationship. We have seen the one highest relationless relationship. That I am in everything, but nothing is in me. Or everything is in me, but I am not in them. Their activities do not affect me. But it comes down to our level. We need someone to tell us how I came into existence. Where do I go when I'm in trouble? So when I was a child, obviously I went to my parents. Dad, I need money. My father is more rigid and strict, then I'll go to my mother. Because I know between those two, I'll be protected. So Bhagavan said, in your life, if you need any guidance, Pitaham asya jagataha, I am the father of this universe. For all beings and things, he is the father because without him, their existence is not possible. I cannot be here if my father was not existing at one point of time in history. So I am here because my father existed. This Jagat exists because Ishvara exists. Mata, I am also the mother, the one who provides that universal womb, the Hiranyagarbha, is also me. From my womb alone, this entire Jagat came out. So I am the mother of all beings. Dhata Pitamaha, I am the supporter. Dhata also is translated is the Karma Phala Dhata. Your activity, I am the one who gives results to those activities. That's how I support. The world is self-sustaining by the activities of the things and beings and people in this Jagat. There is no other source of energy we require outside this Jagat. It's self-sustaining by activity performed by each constituent part of this Jagat, this Prakriti. And Bhagavan said, I am the supporter of that activity. Pitamaham, the grandsire. If you say, okay, who is the father? It's also me. In other words, this is an infinite relationship of father and children. My father had father was my grandfather. My grandfather's father was my great-grandfather. And I can continue till infinity. Bhagavan said, that's me. When you reach a point where you cannot find who was your ancestor, that's me. Pitamaha. Vedyam Pavitram Omkara. Vedyam, I'm the one which is knowable. Everything else is known through my senses, but I still don't know myself. He said, you know me? That is the knowable. That is the quest of your life, is to know who you are in reality. So Bhagavan said, Vedyam, I'm the knowable. Myself is knowable. Pavitram, the purifier. Once I know my own self, it will purify all my sins. Because they will become like the sins I have committed in my dream. When I wake up, all my sins in my dream are washed out because they were not performed by me, the waker, they were performed by me, the dreamer. Here Bhagavad says, therefore, once you wake up from this state of waking, which you call real, to the Turiya Avastha, the fourth state, where you see things as the witness of the entire Prakriti, it will purify you of all your sins, all your unhappiness. Omkara, which is indicated in Vedas as Omkar, which we have learned. The Om constituted of A, O and Ma. A represents creation, O represents sustenance, Ma represents destruction. And then there is silence between two utterings of Om, which is the Turyavastha, the fourth. So all these four states of your existence, Bhagavan said, is indicated in Vedas as Om, that Om is the knowable. Ruk Sama Yajuhu Evacha. And all that is described in Vedas as the supreme being is nothing but me. Ruk Sama. Swamiji points out that Atharva Veda is not mentioned here. There are several explanations commentators have given. One is that Atharva Veda probably was not really known at the time of Mahabharata. Bhagavan Vedvyas did not even consider that as a Veda. Other explanation, Atharva Veda is predominated by secular sciences, engineering, medicine, all that is in Atharva Veda. So Atharva Veda is more secular science. In fact, all the aeronautics by Bharadwaj Rishi describe engineering and mathematics is basically comes from Atharva Veda. Or Swamiji says that, therefore, maybe Bhagavan Vedyas did not consider Atharva Veda is as important as Ruk, Sam and Yaju to describe the supreme reality. Because this chapter is about mysticism. To know something which cannot be known by my normal senses. Gatihi Bharta Prabhuhu Saksi Nivasaha. So Bhagavan is describing his relationship to us as normal human beings or individuals. And say, you have to see me as this. I'm your father, I'm your mother, I'm a supporter. They say, Gatihi, I'm the go. Now, Gati obviously in our vernacular language is speed. What is the speed of a car in Gujarati? I'll say in Gati ketli છે. Gati is speed. Or Gati is activity. So Gati is also goal. For my action to create activity is my goal. So Bhagavan said, that is me. Every action that you perform, your goal is to get something out of action. You see, no matter what you think your goal is, but ultimately it is me. I'm trying to buy a BMW or get a promotion. You see, in the end, because there is nothing other than me, so your goal is me. Gati. I am the goal of all things and beings. If I find my happiness somewhere else, I'll decide that as my goal. But in the end, all I'm trying to find is happiness. So Gatihi, Bharta, and I am the supporter of your activity. You perform your activity because you're conscious. I am enabling you to perform this activity. I'm so saksi, I'm witness. I think I should do that. That I is witnessing what my thought is. Bhagavan says, I'm also witness, saksi. Nivasaha, I'm the abode of all things and beings. Sharanam, I'm the refuge. When everything fails, what do? We go to Bhagavan. Say, Bhagavan, take care of it. I have tried everything. I thought I can take care of it. Apparently, it's not working out. So he's Sharanam. He's the final refuge. I have tried everything. I asked my father. I asked my friend. ask the authority, president. In the end, Bhagavan, you take care. Saranam, Suhrit, friend. Now this is very unique relationship we have with our friends. A relative or a friend, if we go to them, the relative will give you the advice which he or she thinks is right for you, and he will not participate in anything which he doesn't think is right. You go to a father and say, I want to go to a casino, and if that's the exam time, my father will not support me. So, are you going crazy when your exam is coming and you want to go to casino or whatever the movie? But a friend will support me. It happened to me all the time. My friend will come just a day before the exam and say, Neil, this is a new movie and I don't think it will last long. I will be able to go and see it. I said, but Deepak, I have an exam next day. He said, yeah, but you can always read at night, isn't it? And you guys are good at working at night. Oh, okay, let's go. Friend is the one who will support me even if he thinks it is not right for me or is not good for me. Even he thinks that it is not good for both of us. He will still say, okay, if you are bent upon doing it, I'll support you. Even when you are doing something wrong, you are acting in an evil manner, I caution you as your conscience that this is not good for you. But you say, no, but I need to do it. Bhagavan says, I enable you. Go ahead and do it. I'll support you. Prabhavaha pralayaha tatha. I am also the beginning, the source of your existence, and also I am the dissolution, which is where you come into existence and you dissolve in nothing but in me alone. Every time you took birth and you died, this cycle continues, but only happening within me. So I am your source of your being, and I am also source of your dissolution of your being. Sthanam, I am the foundation. I am that foundation on which all this Maya is working, that you take birth and you work and you leave and you die and take birth again. The cycle continues, constantly acting in this world. It's all happening because of me, the fundamental reality. Nidhanam, and the end of all your activities. That's where you rest in the end. Bijam avyayam. Because this world is perpetual, it continues for perpetuity. The seed which creates this world must be perpetual also. So unlike other seeds which we have experienced in life, when I plant the seed, the tree comes out, the seed is lost. Now seed is manifesting as the tree. I can't find the seed again. But here in this case, because the Prakriti, the tree is nothing but Maya, the seed remains intact. The seed is the Brahman. That Brahman remains intact without any change while projecting this Maya. So Bhagavan said, Bijam avyayam. Therefore, I am that immutable seed of all the being. With that, we'll stop right here. If you find this podcast helpful, please support it by donating any amount by going to the episode's website at neilbhatt.podbean.com or at chinmayarichmond.org. Thank you. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhave. Om Shantihi Shantihi Shantihi. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.